Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. Recently, Ken McElroy did a video where he was talking about the 5 ways to supercharge your financial future. And while watching this, I kept expecting one of my favorite ways to supercharge your financial future to come up, and he didn't mention it. So I'm going to cover the 5 ways that he talked about, and then I'm going to add the one that you've probably heard about. You've probably heard the name of it, but it's kind of fancy words that turns my monkey brain off, and I didn't really understand it for years. So I'm actually going to give an example of the one he missed and see if it sticks with you the way it did with me. And as a reward for sticking around to the end of the video, I'm going to include a short clip of why you should secure a private charter with a small boat and not one of the larger ones that you might see going by. If you're ever in Lagos, here's where you should book your trip with to get on one of the boats. This is Fabio.
Hello guys, everything alright? Whenever you are in Lagos, you can visit us. We're not pioneers. We do boat tours. We show you the caves, small boats, fisher guys. And yeah, it's a 15-minute tour and we show you our beautiful coast.
Thank you so much. It was so much better than I expected. You guys are awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for preference.
The smaller the boat, the better. Here in Lagos, at least, that seems to be the case. So the first thing Ken talks about is probably the main reason why I was able to retire early. I invested for a little over a decade, didn't start until I was 40, and was in a pretty bad position, right? Single parent, 3 kids, got laid off from law enforcement, found out about $89,000 in bad debt in my name I didn't know existed until the divorce. Started teaching at a CDL school, making $17 an hour, and in about a decade turned that around to where I can retire, and now I just travel the world and chase the good scuba. Scuba, David. Ken says, cash flow is king. And that I 100% agree with. I pretty much agree with everything he said, but this one I really like because I don't really invest for appreciation. I don't invest for principal pay down. I don't invest for a lot of the things I hear people saying why they put their money to work. I wanted cash flow coming in so I didn't have to sell my life 1 hour at a time anymore. So I completely agree with number 1. Number 2, Ken says to use leverage or other people's money. These are 5 ways to supercharge your financial future. And I completely agree with this. I'm not a Dave Ramsey fan. Like, I think he has great advice for people who are bad with money and need to get out of bad debt. And I probably use some of his principles to do that in the beginning. But as an investor, yeah, I don't want to be 100% leveraged. I liked saving up a down payment and buying a place. My first duplex I purchased was a house hack where I only had 5% down, but the ones after that I did 20% down, and I think 1 or 2 I might have done 25% down because I like a good levered position. So I'm not over levered. I can handle something like rents flatlining while expenses go up. But that bank putting the risk in the property and me not having to save up the hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? That first duplex was $300,000. I'd still be saving because it's worth over $700 now. And I had to save a $15,000 down payment. That house hacking reduced my cost of living expense from $1,500 a month that I was paying for an apartment down to about $300 a month for the part of the mortgage I was having to cover, letting me save a lot every month. The third thing Ken talks about is forced appreciation. Now, I really like this. I've bought a couple of deals where I don't do the BRRRR strategy. I did one after I retired. It's not my favorite thing. But I bought a couple of properties where one was a duplex with 2 bedrooms on each side and a den on each side. So really all it was missing, because these dens already had closets, was 1 wall, a door, and a light switch to turn it into a 3-bedroom, which made me get a lot more rental income. So I was able to force appreciation, but not just in the appreciation of the total value of the property, but I was able to force appreciation in the rents. I am a fan of that. The fourth thing that Ken mentions, this is, again, almost all of these seem to be like my favorite, but the tax advantages. And here's just a quick breakdown. With YouTube, I make somewhere around $800 or $900 a month, sometimes $1,000 a month. And so around 10 grand a year, I will pay taxes on that income from last year because I didn't do something smart like take a trip to Portugal in 2024 where I can use all of these as write-offs against YouTube income, all of the expenses, even chartering that boat, because I'm here making videos. Come at me, IRS. So since I didn't take the big expensive trip in 2024 to a place like this where I'm probably not even going to spend that much money, I'm going to pay a few $1,000s in taxes on $10,000 in income. But a quick breakdown on my real estate portfolio, right? 18 rental units. I own one single family house. The rest are all small multifamily. I still house hack in one of the units, so I'm renting out 17 units. There's about $35,000 in rents coming in, about $9,000 a month in mortgages going out. I set aside $5,150 a month for things that are going to go wrong in the future, because that's crazy, leaving me about $21,000 a month in pure profit. This is well over $200,000 a year in profit, of which I will pay $0 in rental income tax. Mostly because I have OPM, other people's money. I'm depreciating multiples of what I invested over 27 and a half years. It's almost like Congress is full of people who own properties who keep making laws that benefit people who own properties. So weird. What are the odds? The fifth thing that Ken mentions is to build your network. Now, for a lot of investors, they are going to look at your lenders, your handyman, your contractors, the network being your net worth analogy that a lot of people make. For me, I look at it from a little bit of a different angle. I kind of borrow this from my friend Millennial Mike, who is a first responder who lives in a high cost of living area and invests at a distance. But when he reached out to invest at a distance, the most important network he built there, and he talks about this often on his channel here on YouTube, is the network of other investors. I have surrounded myself virtually, online and in person, with people who have done what I wanted to do. Purchase properties that make more than they cost them, make work optional, retire early, walk away from that W-2 where you have to sell your life 1 hour at a time into time freedom to do whatever you feel like. I am here because of the people that I have interacted with who have also done something like this. So build your network. That analogy that I've heard is you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with is something I also 100% agree with. Surround yourself with the right people. Doesn't mean you have to get rid of the people that aren't where you want to be, but add the ones who are. Here's the missing one. Here's the one I think that I kept waiting for Ken to mention. I thought it was going to be his 5th one when he didn't mention it all the way through, because Ken interacts with Robert Kiyosaki, I think it's George Gammon, Jason Hartman, and Jason Hartman says this often. I'm not going to use the term until after I give the example, because the term turns off a lot of people's brains because it's a bit confusing, just the words. But I want to give an example. In 2018, I purchased a duplex. Now, this was a rental. This was not a house hack. And I paid about $300,000 for it. I put 20% down. So let's go over some of the benefits here. It cash flowed when I purchased it. Not a lot, $400 or $500 aside. It's cash flow has changed since then, but cash flow is king. I made a purchase. I had to put 20% down, so 20% of $300,000. I had a $60,000 down payment. There were some closing costs, inspection, appraisal. I bought down the rate, right? So it was a little more than that, but basically we could say $60,000 down. I put $60,000 down to own a $300,000 asset. It cash flows some. Cash flow goes up over time. So currently, each side's rented out for over $2,000. The mortgage is under $1,400. I have refinanced to a lower rate in 2020. So cash flow is great. So we go for number 1, cash flow is king. Number 2, other people's money. $240,000 of the bank's money that they put into the property that I get to depreciate the value of the building, not just the 40 or the 60,000 I put down. I get the appreciation on the whole value. The tax advantages, well, the forced depreciation, this was one where, yeah, it had a den on each side, convert them to a bedroom, so I get more rents. So I've got cash flow is king, levered OPM, forced depreciation, the tax advantages. I still haven't paid any tax on the rental income from it. If I sell it, I can do a 1031 and delay the taxes into the next property. If I ever pass away and my kids inherit it, stepped up basis resets the value, so they don't even have to pay the taxes. There is a ton of tax benefits on this property. Build my network. On this property, I have developed relationships with handymen and contractors, the ones who built the closets or did some minor repairs. But here's the one that's missing. It is now, while I'm recording this video, hello Futureland, 2025. It's worth over $700,000 now. So appreciation is great. The tenants have been paying down the mortgage for about 7 years. That's a good thing. But that's not even the benefit I'm talking about. I borrowed $240,000 to buy a $300,000 asset. And because of inflation, 7 years of inflation, making the dollar lose value because they keep printing more of it, right? The property values are about the same, but the dollar keeps losing value because we're printing more of it. So since there's more money in circulation and inflation has hit the dollar, instead of $300,000 to buy that property now, it takes $700,000 or more dollars to buy that property. But I still only borrowed $240,000. Because of inflation, the rents are more. The hidden, not secret, but ultimately the thing that made me the most wealthy over time is called inflation-based debt destruction. It is easier to pay off 2018 dollars in 2025 because of inflation. The rents are more, the property's worth more, I could sell it, pay the debt off, walk away with hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit. The thing is, so many people look back and go, that would be awesome to buy something in 2018 and be paying it off for $20, $25. I really want you to think, it is going to be 2032 eventually. And people will be saying, can you imagine buying a property in 2025 with 2025 prices, but paying it off with 2032 money after 7 years of inflation, appreciation, principal pay down, tax benefits, all of the things that people talk about that can accelerate your financial journey? You can do that today. And now, as a reward for sticking around to the end of the video, here is why you charter a smaller boat.
We're going in there. Oh my God. Oh, come on. Man, you stressing out back there or what?
Yeah, I got a test from the seat.
This is the coolest shit ever, man.
Okay, I want to swim through there.
We get in trouble.
Yeah, we've been in trouble before. If you're ever in Lagos, here's where you should book your trip with to get on one of the boats. This is Fabio.
Hello guys, everything alright? Whenever you are in Lagos, you can visit us. Grotto Pioneers. We do boat tours. We show you the caves, small boats, fisher guys.
And then...
And yeah, it's a 15-minute tour and we show you our beautiful coast.
Thank you so much. It was so much better than I expected. You guys are awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for preference.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.